What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and I've been looking into this Lindsay Shiver case. For those of you all who are unfamiliar with this case, check out my previous video on this topic, and in that video I provide all of the details about everything we know so far. But just to give you all a quick rundown here, Lindsay Shiver is a former college cheerleader. She's also a former beauty pageant winner who went on to marry her college sweetheart, Robert Shiver, who actually turns out to be a former college football star. They had what seemed to be the ideal life, the perfect life, at least on social media. They always seemed so happy, so in love. She would often post these lengthy posts about how much she loves her life with her husband, how much she loves their life together and their kids, and you name it. They were very well off financially. 3 kids, 3 young kids, a beautiful home, and they even had a vacation home in the Bahamas. And Lord knows what else type of property they owned. They had literally the storybook life. Well, the storybook life was not good enough for Lindsay. Because you see, Lindsay, when she would be down at the Bahamas at the vacation home, she was running off with some dude. And eventually, her husband found out that Lindsay was having an affair, that Lindsay was cheating on him. So, he filed for divorce. Well, that did not go over so well for Lindsay. She did not take kindly to these divorce papers. So what did she do? She decided that her and her new little boy toy were going to hire someone to kill her husband, the father of her 3 children, who had provided a wonderful life for them all. But that wasn't good enough for Lindsay. She was willing to throw away the perfect home, the ideal life, her relationship with her kids. None of it mattered to her. What mattered to her more was this dude that she met in the Bahamas. In fact, they were actually captured on video as law enforcement was transferring them from one city to another. I want to go ahead and show you this quick little clip real quick. This woman, Lindsay, should be ashamed of herself. I mean, look at her. You saw the video. She's sitting here getting transported by police with that crusty, musty looking broke dude that she threw her storybook life away for. She's sitting here getting transferred by police when she could be living the dream life. She could be at her multi-million-dollar house with her 3 kids, her beautiful garden, her loving husband. They could be out on a summer vacation right now, but no. She's getting transferred to another jail with her would-be boyfriend. Just imagine that. Imagine having everything that everyone dreams of, and you throw it all away. For what? An extra inch of dick? Because that's what this is over. She threw her whole life away for, what, a little bit of sex? Isn't that sad? And now you're walking through the airport looking stupid with this bum when you could be in your mansion, feet kicked up, eating Cheez-Its like Carly Russell with your 3 loving children, while your husband works his ass off to provide the life that you lived. But no, it wasn't worth it for Lindsay. But I've been sitting here trying to figure out what would be Lindsay's motive in doing this. Because you see, as far as I know, listen, let's go ahead and clear one thing up. It is very early in the investigation. You probably haven't even seen many people talking about this story yet at all. I expect that this story is going to blow up sometime today, sometime tomorrow, who knows. But very early in the investigation, we do not have a lot of details about what's going on here, okay? We do not. So I've been trying to figure out what would the motive be. Why would Lindsay hire someone to kill her husband? Because from everything I've researched thus far, it looks as if this plot did not come about until her husband filed for divorce. So she was willing to cheat on her husband behind her back and still live her storybook life with her husband until she got caught. Once she got caught and he filed for divorce, that's when she concocted this plot. So that right there makes me wonder. Because usually when you look at a plot like this one, when you look at a case like this one, usually it's all about the money. You don't even have to really research or ask any questions. You just know, oh, there must be a life insurance policy. You want to get this, you want to get your significant other out the way so you can collect some money and run off with your new little fling. But in this situation, both families seem to be very, very well off. Her husband and her husband's family, they come from money. Lindsay, she comes from money. So that makes me wonder, is money really a motivation here? Or was it keeping up the image of this ideal life? I'm starting to wonder that maybe money was not the issue here. Maybe Lindsay just couldn't stomach getting divorced. She didn't want to deal with the embarrassment. She didn't want the world to know that her and her husband weren't living the perfect marriage, that they weren't this fairy tale relationship. And instead of facing the world after getting divorced for being a cheater, Lindsay decided, hey, I'm just going to have someone kill my husband, and therefore I could play the victim. I could play the victim. I could be the widow who, oh my God, my poor loving husband. And then eventually I run off with some younger dude from the Bahamas. I'm really curious about what was going through Lindsay's mind. Because not too long ago, she was just taking pictures with her husband and her kids all around her, looking like they were the happiest couple alive. A couple of weeks later, she's hiring someone to kill her husband. Really weird situation. And I keep watching this little clip over and over again because here Lindsay is, looking like straight up Boo-Boo the Fool, getting transported by the cops through this airport with her bum boyfriend. Her bum boyfriend, who probably isn't worth a dime. I mean, look at the guy. She threw away everything for this. You have 3 young, beautiful kids, a beautiful life, a beautiful home. And now your kids are at home in their nice house without their mother. Your husband's without his wife. You're no longer really a part of the family. You're no longer probably going to be as big of a part of their life anymore going forward. Because you chose to do something this stupid. And the way they got caught is wild. Because you see, Lindsay, her bum boyfriend, they tried to get a third person involved to kill the husband. And the police found out about this because of another crime. There were some burglaries going on at local businesses. They winded up finding a cell phone, and in the cell phone was this whole plot. It's really wild, y'all. But because of that, because of how they found out about this plot, it makes me wonder are these charges really going to be able to stick? Because Like, the way this played out, it's different than any case I've ever seen before. Law enforcement, they're investigating other crimes. They have no idea about this plot. While investigating other crimes and these other burglaries, they find this cell phone. In the cell phone are these messages about this plot. So we don't even know, and as far as I know, law enforcement does not know at this time if the cell phone belongs to Lindsay, if it belongs to the boyfriend, or if it belongs to the hitman. We're still, like I said, we're very early on in this case. We don't know who the cell phone belongs to. All we know is that within this cell phone was a whole entire plot to kill Lindsay's husband that Lindsay was supposedly in on. But I want to go ahead and show you this clip because the news did talk about this briefly. They briefly talked about what type of charges she may be facing, and I want you all to watch that really quick. While you're watching it, make sure you go ahead and start hitting that thumbs up button, dropping all of your comments down below. Let me know what you think of everything I said so far. Let me know of everything that you think about what they're saying in this clip, and then after this clip, I'm going to be back with more thought.
Let's dig in deeper on this one with News Nation legal contributor Jesse Weber. Jesse, per Kelsey's note there about social media, it's another one of those cases where everything looks perfect on Instagram, right? You got happy couple, happy kids, Bahama getaways, and allegedly not what it all seems. Can I just start off by asking me, why do so many people forget divorce is an option and instead resort to plots like this? I mean, what's the deal?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, what was it, only a little while ago we were covering the Corey Richins case, the woman accused of killing her husband and then writing a book about his death. I mean, it's upsetting because the way I was understanding this case, he found out about the affair, filed for divorce, and when that happened, she then allegedly plotted to kill him. You know, I just read a statistic recently that about 4% of the murders we see happen in the United States are murder for hire plots. And we see it a lot between spouses or loved ones or people in relationships. They believe, hey, I'm not going to get my hands dirty, but if I hire someone to do it, no one will suspect me. And what's so interesting about these cases, the murder for hire plots leave the biggest trail of evidence because you're basically entering into an agreement to pay someone to kill another person. And so there's a paper trail, there are text messages, there are emails. And unfortunately, we see these cases a lot more than we really should. It's remarkable.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if he's the one who filed for divorce, I mean, if he was wanting out, she had a way out. A lot of things aren't adding up here. Jesse, we still don't know a ton about this alleged murder for hire plot. Bahamian police say this charge centered on these incriminating text messages they found for a completely different case they were looking into. What other evidence, though, will they need in order to convict her?
Yeah, it's strange because we don't know if this phone belonged to any of the three people that were ultimately arrested. We don't know the content of these messages. They're going to need more. And what I suspect is when you have multiple people who are ultimately arrested in a murder for hire plot, obviously prosecutors want one of them to turn and testify against the others. That's a really surefire way to get a conviction. Now, I imagine there's going to be more. You mentioned it before. If he was going to divorce her, why would she want him dead? Many times we see, is there a life insurance policy at stake? Is there some sort of financial aspect at stake? What was going on in their marriage? This is just the beginning part of it. I imagine prosecutors and authorities have a lot more than they're sharing right now.
Yeah, money very might well have something to do with it. What kind of defense could Shiver and her legal team put forward, do you think?
Now, again, we're in the early stages. I'd like to know more facts. But in these cases, even if those messages said that she wanted him dead, she would say, I never meant it. I never actually wanted you to kill anyone. Yeah, I was angry, and maybe if there was an exchange of money, she could explain away the exchange of money. It's tough because those cases, they don't add up well when you see an exchange of money and you see, an idea that you want someone dead. But her best defense would be, I never entered into an agreement to kill him. I never intended to kill him. That's the best way she can go.
Okay. And last question for you. Shiver was not required to enter a plea at her arraignment, and she's due back in a Bahamian court on October 5th. How quickly can we expect this case to move along? I mean, do you know how the Bahamian court system works? I personally have no idea.
Well, I'm no expert, but I did a little research last night into this, and their system is very similar to our system. There's a discovery process, there are motions, and this will be, it could be a jury trial, it can go in front of a judge. The standard is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So it's very similar to what we see in the States, and we'll see ultimately how this case progresses, because it's quite a development for such a couple that seem to be in love online.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see in a couple months. October 5th is when she and the others are due back in court. Jesse Weber, thanks so much as always. We'll follow it closely.
So I'm hoping that they're able to hit her with some charges that actually stick. From everything I've seen right now, I mean, there's not a lot of evidence, but like the guy was saying, when you have a plot like this one, there's a paper trail. There's just trails in general, text messages, emails, you name it. And I assume that we're going to be getting a lot more information about this case. But at the same time, as someone who's covered plenty of cases at this point, I've lost a lot of confidence when it comes to justice actually, when it comes to, I've lost a lot of confidence when it comes to people being held accountable for the things they do. We often see some of the most terrible people get away with doing whatever, while innocent people or good people are railroaded and put through the ringer for minuscule nonsense. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that she doesn't walk away from this as if this wasn't a serious crime. Because, yeah, Robert's still with us. Luckily, they uncovered this plot right before it came to fruition. Okay? So, luckily, Robert's not dead. But, in my opinion, the fact that nothing had happened to Robert yet, I don't think that should change much. Because what matters to me here is the intention. And Lindsay had every intention on having her husband killed. That's the way it appears. That she had every intention on having her husband killed. So even though they were caught before they were able to do it, I don't think that makes this situation any better. In my opinion, she's still a murderer or someone who wanted to hire someone to murder her husband. In my mind, even though they didn't complete the task yet, she's still a killer. She's a criminal. She deserves to be behind bars. She deserves to sit there in a lonely cell thinking about the beautiful life that she left behind. I want her to wake up every day looking at a cold, hard, white wall. I want her to wake up every day on a cot. I want her to wake up every day eating instant jail grits, thinking about the beautiful life that she had. How you could go from having it all, the family, the money, the houses, the vacations, you had it all and you threw it away for some bum that's going to forget about you, that probably already doesn't care about you anymore, who obviously didn't care much about you in the first place. Because if you really care about someone, you're not going to put them through this type of situation. If you really care about someone and the person you care about wants you to kill their family, then maybe you shouldn't, okay? But in all honesty, you really got to think about it. Because you see, for Lindsay, she had everything to lose. She had everything you could possibly imagine to lose. And the dude that she was running around with had nothing. He had nothing. At the end of the day, he'll run off with the next woman. At the end of the day, he hasn't even known her that long. You know what I mean? They have no history. They have built nothing together. It's nothing for him to go off with some other woman now, or to move on with his life once he gets out of jail. But Lindsay, you lost everything. And the crazy part to me is I'm still struggling on trying to figure out what the motive is here. Of course, my mind immediately goes to money and life insurance policies and things of that nature. And Robert actually worked for a life insurance company. But seeing how well off these families are, and I mean well off. Lindsay's family is well off. Robert's family, they're well off. It makes me think that maybe money wasn't the issue, and that the issue was her image. Instead of facing her family and facing her town and facing the world and saying, hey, me and Robert are getting a divorce because I decided to suck off some dude in the Bahamas. Instead of facing the world and letting the world know that she was a dirty slut that cheated on her husband, instead of doing that, she'd rather kill her husband to maintain her image. But now look at her image. How ironic is that? If that was really your motive, if money wasn't your motive and your motive was your image, how ironic is it that now, not only does the world know that you were a down low, dirty, skeezy cheater, but also you tried to hire someone to kill your husband. There's no coming back from that. You know, you could have come out as a cheater. People would have moved on. A lot of people wouldn't even give a damn in today's day and age. But now? Oh, so you are running around having affairs and trying to kill your husband? There's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that. And I hope that they hit her with the book and that she just has to think about this every day for the rest of her life. Let me know your thoughts about this, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next video.